paparazzi like LA or New York. You know what I'm saying? So I'm out a lot. It's just that people don't really see me.
So you out and about?
Yeah.
That's interesting to know.
Eminem is stirring up the scene again, this time calling out Jay-Z and Beyoncé without holding back. He's not just lending support to 50 Cent in his ongoing beef with the Carters, he's going all in. Eminem is claiming that Jay-Z and Beyoncé didn't just give other artists the cold shoulder, they actively sabotaged them. He's doubling down on accusations that the Carters wield their power behind the scenes, crushing any rising stars who might pose a threat to their reign. Eminem still remembers his past clashes with Jay-Z, particularly when Jay allegedly tried to block 50 Cent from performing at the Super Bowl. Now he's speaking out louder than ever about the industry's behind-the-scenes power struggles. According to Eminem, the tactics aren't just shady, they're cutthroat. He suggests that the Carters have a history of silencing competition, sidelining promising careers, and forcing major artists out of the spotlight. Names like DMX, Aaliyah, and others are being mentioned. Some who tragically passed too soon, and others who vanished without a trace, just as they were gaining traction. Even figures like Amory and Carrie Hilson seem to disappear at the height of their buzz, leading some to point the finger at Jay and Beyoncé. So why are Eminem and 50 Cent so vocal about these allegations now?
No, in Detroit,
Could
we
it
don't
be
have
that the Carter
paparazzi like
empire
LA
is
or New
beginning to
York.
crack?
You know what I'm saying?
What's
So,
truly going
I'm
on
out a
behind
lot.
the scenes?
It's just
And
that
how many talented artists were pushed aside to protect the Carters' dominance?
just
Eminem
do it
may
under
not
the
be as
radar, man.
outspoken on
That's all.
social
We don't-
media as
you know, in
50
Detroit,
Cent,
we don't
but
have
he's not holding
paparazzi
back
like
when it comes
LA
to
and New
exposing
York.
what
You
he
know what I'm
sees
saying?
as a dark
So,
side of
I'm
the
out a
music
lot.
industry.
It's just that
When Eminem speaks,
people don't
it's
really
a direct
see me.
hit. No sugarcoating, no apologies. He's not holding back on anyone who climbs to the top by stepping on others. And yes, that absolutely includes Jay-Z and Beyoncé. But for Eminem, this goes beyond industry. This is personal. See, 50 Cent isn't just a colleague, he's family. Their bond runs deep, dating back to the early days of their careers. In fact, 50 recently revealed he got emotional and even shed tears at Eminem's
Have no
daughter
control
Haley's
over, and
wedding
that's what
last year.
destiny is.
That kind of
But no more
connection is
worries,
rare,
rest your head and go to
Eminem's
sleep. Maybe
loyalty
one
to
day we'll
50 is unwavering. So when it comes to the long-standing feud between 50 and Jay-Z, it's clear where Eminem stands. For years, tensions between 50 Cent and Jay-Z have simmered,
I think
and at
they
times
still
boiled
harbor
over.
some in it.
With Eminem's deep allegiance to 50, it's not hard to see why he'd avoid sending Jay any holiday greetings.
Jay-Z and
50's
them was
stance
put
has
together.
always been crystal clear. If you're siding
So
with my
I
enemies,
think they
you're my
still
enemy too.
harbor
It's
some
as simple
energy
as that.
towards me.
Sure, Eminem and Jay-Z collaborated on a few tracks back in the early 2000s, but that camaraderie didn't last. According
I
to
do a lot more
Eminem,
and
Jay
go
was
a lot more
allegedly
places than
working
people
behind the
actually think I
scenes,
do.
throwing
I just do
shade
it
and
under
making
the
moves
radar,
to
man. That's
hinder
all.
50's
We don't-
career.
you-
This wasn't just minor rivalry, it was a full-on power play. By 2023, the truth started bubbling to the surface. 50 Cent publicly accused Jay-Z of leveraging his influence within the NFL to block 50 from performing at the Super Bowl halftime show. But Jay's strategy didn't go as planned. It backfired, proving that even the most calculated maneuvers can falter. Eminem wasn't having any of it. According to 50 Cent, Eminem made it perfectly clear to the NFL, if 50 wasn't part of the halftime lineup, then Eminem...
Guess niggas can't be choosy. Wanted you to see attention from my music. Wanted to be left alone in public, excuse me.
50 Cent and Eminem are now putting the Carters on blast for their alleged Grammy manipulation. The duo is pulling no punches, accusing Jay-Z and Beyoncé of using calculated backdoor tactics to secure awards they didn't deserve. 50 even went as far as claiming that Jay-Z relies on his high-profile marriage to Beyoncé as leverage to collect accolades. As for Eminem, he's been vocal about his disdain for the Grammys for years. He's called out the institution as nothing more than a corrupt, pay-to-play spectacle, and he's made it crystal clear that he's done with the entire scene. Em explained that what really stings isn't losing, it's the disrespect. If another artist dropped a better album, he could accept the loss. But watching the Grammys hype him up, when asked if he'd ever consider coming back, Eminem's response was blunt. It doesn't matter who's picking the winners, because the system is rigged from the start. The whole process is a farce, he claims, with winners chosen based on
Detroit,
anything
we
but
don't
true
have paparazzi
artistry.
like LA
Meanwhile,
and New York.
50 Cent doubled down, going even harder in his critique. He argued that Jay-Z's Grammy wins have little to do with musical merit and everything to do with the power couple's star power. According to 50, The second Jay and Beyoncé walk into the room, ratings spike, and that's all the Grammys care about. They're chasing views, not rewarding talent. And 50 isn't one to let it slide, calling out the entire system as a sham. During a no-holds-barred sit-down on the Flagrant podcast, 50 Cent turned up the heat, claiming that Jay-Z's Grammy wins owe more to Beyoncé's star power than to Jay's actual rhymes. He wasn't sugarcoating a thing. Then, in a shocking twist, he took things further, flipping the narrative and sending the conversation into murky territory. 50 Cent didn't just stop at accusing the Carters of rigging award ceremonies, he questioned the very foundation of their marriage. According to him, Jay and Beyoncé's relationship might be less about love and more about maintaining their power and public image. He called it a contract, a calculated partnership designed to keep them perched at the top of the industry. But it didn't end there. In an interview with Cameron on Talk with Flea, 50 once again set his sights on Jay. He accused him of not only playing dirty in music, but also pulling shady moves in the business world. Even though Jay-Z seemingly has nothing left to prove, 50 alleges that he's still sabotaging deals and undercutting people out of spite. And 50 isn't alone in these suspicions. For years, whispers have circulated about Jay-Z's behind-the-scenes tactics. There's a growing narrative that his climb to the top wasn't as clean as it seemed. Among the most chilling stories is the one involving Big L, the Harlem legend who played a key role in Jay-Z's early career. Big L was known for his extraordinary freestyle talent and was a giant in the Harlem underground scene. Tragically, his life was cut short in the late 1990s, leaving fans to wonder if his untimely death cast a shadow over Jay-Z's rise to fame. While nothing has been proven, the rumors about how Jay-Z maneuvered through the industry remain a source of intrigue and controversy. In 1992, Big L inked a deal with Columbia Records and quickly dropped a buzzworthy debut album. Yet, despite the initial excitement, the relationship was short-lived. Columbia parted ways with Big L in under a year, citing creative differences. That's the official story, at least, but many believe there was much more going on behind the scenes. Unfazed, Big L didn't retreat. Instead, he went independent and founded his own label, Flamboyant Entertainment. He started laying down tracks for his second album, gaining momentum once again. That's when Rockefeller co-founder Dame Dash reportedly took notice. Rumor had it Dame was ready to bring Big L and his crew into the Rockefeller fold. It seemed like Big L's career was poised to hit a whole new level. Then, tragedy struck. Out of nowhere, Big L was gunned down in a drive-by shooting in his own Harlem neighborhood. The loss was devastating, not just for Big L's family and friends, but for the hip-hop community at large. And the circumstances surrounding his death have remained murky ever since. Police eventually arrested one of Big L's childhood friends, Gerard Woodley, in connection with the shooting. However, with insufficient evidence to hold him, Woodley was released. Fast forward to 2016. Woodley himself was shot and killed in Harlem, adding another layer of mystery to the story. Decades later, Big L's murder remains unsolved, fueling whispers and speculation. This is where things start to get even murkier. Industry figures like Jaguar Wright have suggested that Jay-Z might have insight into what really happened. Her claims hint that Jay's silence isn't just curious, it might be telling. Big L's story isn't the only one shadowed by these whispers. Another legendary figure, DMX, also found himself tied to allegations of sabotage. Before his death in April 2021, DMX publicly clashed with Jay-Z, accusing him of underhanded moves that held him back. Even though Jay-Z spoke warmly of DMX after his passing, some fans remain skeptical. They remember DMX as fiercely competitive and openly critical of the industry's power plays, criticism that never sat well with everyone involved. And while Jay-Z's public statements after DMX's death seemed respectful and nostalgic, longtime DMX followers believe those words only tell part of the story. Behind the glowing tributes, some see the echoes of unresolved tensions that have yet to be fully explained. DMX made it no secret that before his death, he had serious grievances with Jay-Z. One of his most shocking claims? That Jay-Z, driven by a need for control, actively blocked the release of DMX's sixth album, Year of the Dog, again. For DMX, that wasn't just industry politics, it was outright betrayal. Back in 2004, a major shift occurred when Jay-Z took over as president of Def Jam Records, stepping into a position of immense power after Lyor Cohen's departure. For years, DMX had been a cornerstone of Def Jam's success. From 1998 to 2003, he released 5 consecutive #1 albums, cementing his status as one of the label's most influential artists. But according to DMX, everything changed the moment Jay-Z stepped into that executive chair. X claimed that Jay used his newfound authority to block Year of the Dog,
in
again
Detroit,
from
we don't
hitting
have
the shelves.
paparazzi like LA
The
and
reason?
New York. You know what I'm saying?
DMX believed
So,
that Jay
I'm
was
out a
trying to
lot.
clear the
It's
playing
just that-
field. He accused Jay of not wanting any competition, especially not from
Just
a
do it under the
powerhouse
radar,
like
man, that's
DMX,
all. We
standing
don't-
in
you
the
know,
way
in
of his own
Detroit, we don't
comeback.
have paparazzi
The tension
like
didn't
LA
stop
and New
there.
York. You know what I'm saying?
DMX
So,
also
I'm out a
alleged that
lot.
Jay-Z
It's
began
just that
prioritizing his
people
own
don't really
interests
see
over
me.
his artists. He suggested that Jay wasn't just running the label, he was manipulating the landscape to ensure he remained the top act. X wasn't the only one who felt the effects. Beanie Siegel, a Rockefeller standout with a growing reputation, found himself in a similar predicament. Beanie had been on the rise, dropping critically acclaimed albums and gaining respect as one of Rockefeller's brightest stars. But as his momentum grew, things started
Have no
to
control
unravel.
over, and that's what destiny
According to
is.
Beanie and
But no
his
more
collective,
worries, rest your head and go to
Jay-Z
sleep.
was
Maybe
wary
one
of
day
the
we'll...
spotlight shifting. They claimed Jay, afraid of being overshadowed, began pulling strings that left Beanie's career stalled.
Jay-Z and them was putting
For
it together.
DMX and others, Jay-Z's leadership at
So,
Def Jam
I
didn't
think
just
Jay
represent a
still
change in
harbors some
management. It represented a shift in loyalty, a calculated effort to maintain control, and a willingness to suppress
Jay-Z and them was
anyone who
putting it
might
together.
challenge his dominance. What happened next
So,
took
I
things to
think
another
Jay
level.
still harbors
Jay
some
allegedly
energy
started
towards
holding
it.
back Beanie's releases too.
Nothing.
On top of that, there's word that Jay would time his own album drops to land just as Beanie's
I
records
do
were
a lot
slated to
more
hit,
and go a lot more
effectively
places than people
overshadowing
actually think
Beanie's
I do.
buzz and
I just
stealing
do
his
it under
momentum.
the radar, man. That's all.
To make matters worse, Beanie's camp claimed that Jay only allowed a limited number of Beanie's records to be pressed, ensuring his work had little chance to make a splash. Some might dismiss this as just sour grapes, a case of artists venting frustrations after their careers didn't pan out as hoped. But when multiple respected figures from different corners of the industry begin echoing the same accusations, it raises questions. Can all these claims simply be chalked up to jealousy, or does the pattern point to a larger truth? Could Jay really be the common factor?
Oh well, guess beggars can't be choosy. Wanted you to see attention from my music. Wanted to be left alone, public excuse me.
Eventually changed his tune. After years of unwavering loyalty, Kanye began to speak out, hinting that their relationship had soured to the point of paranoia. In one of his boldest moments, Kanye suggested that the tension had grown so severe he worried Jay might send people after him. This wasn't just professional rivalry. This was full-blown mistrust on a deeply personal level. Kanye didn't stop there. He accused both Jay and Beyoncé of being mere industry puppets, maintaining their dominance by playing along with the system and suppressing potential threats. Beyoncé, widely celebrated as the queen of empowerment, hasn't escaped controversy either. Allegations have swirled for years, claiming that she worked behind the scenes to take down other female artists seen as competition. One of the most persistent rumors revolves around her alleged jealousy toward the late Aaliyah. While there's no solid evidence to back these claims, the whispers haven't gone away,
In Detroit,
casting a
we don't
shadow
have
over
paparazzi
Beyoncé's
like
carefully
LA and New York.
curated image as a champion of empowerment and sisterhood. And it wasn't just about Aaliyah's incredible talent or her undeniable star power. This was deeply personal. According to Dame Dash, before Jay-Z was with Beyoncé, he was reportedly infatuated with Aaliyah. Jay was pursuing her relentlessly, but Aaliyah wasn't interested in him the same way. That dynamic hung in the air, and then, almost suddenly, Beyoncé appeared on the scene and changed the game. Jay-Z and Beyoncé publicly confirmed their relationship in 2001, mere months after Aaliyah's untimely and still mysterious plane crash in the Bahamas. The timing has always raised questions for fans. Some feel it was all just a little too close, as if the transition from Jay's unrequited feelings for Aaliyah to his new romance with Beyoncé happened in a blink. But even after Aaliyah's tragic passing, Beyoncé's alleged behind-the-scenes maneuvers didn't stop. When Beyoncé stepped out of Destiny's Child and fully embraced her solo career with Jay-Z's backing, the whispers grew louder. One persistent rumor involves her connection to producer Rich Harrison, who was originally working with another rising star, Ameri. Amory's 2005 hit One Thing was a standout, a track full of infectious energy and a fresh sound. It drew massive attention, and some argue became a blueprint for Beyoncé's smash single Crazy in Love, but it didn't end there. Another major controversy involved singer Carrie Hilson. The drama between Beyoncé and Carrie remains one of the most talked-about feuds in Bey's career. Allegedly, it all began when Carrie released a track that many perceived as a diss aimed at Beyoncé. However, in a surprising twist, Carrie later claimed she never meant to take shots at Beyoncé at all. Instead, she said her producers had pressured her into recording the song, hoping to stir up controversy and potentially get her blacklisted. Carrie initially tried to deny any intentional shade, but the feud escalated when she made headlines for refusing to hold a magazine cover featuring Jay-Z and Beyoncé during a red carpet interview. The refusal added fuel to the fire and painted Carrie as a vocal detractor. Over time, this incident, and others like it, left fans wondering just how far Beyoncé and her team were willing to go to stay ahead in the fiercely competitive music industry. It all came to a head when that one comment set off a storm. The Beyhive came out in full force, attacking Carrie Hilson online and, if some accounts are to be believed, even confronting her in person. By 2020, Carrie spoke up about the seriousness of the backlash, revealing she had received threats that left her genuinely concerned. Then, as if the story couldn't get more unsettling, the late Uncle Ron, a former celebrity bodyguard who passed away from pneumonia in November, brought his own shocking claims into the mix. Before his death, he alleged that Beyoncé and Jay-Z had been deliberately sabotaging artists who seemed poised for greatness. Uncle Ron didn't speak like someone sharing secondhand gossip. He presented himself as someone who'd witnessed the industry's inner workings firsthand. And let's be real, the list of names tied to these allegations is growing uncomfortably long. From Amory to Carrie Hilson, from Big L to DMX and beyond, the pattern is hard to ignore. The Carters' critics argue that these aren't isolated incidents, but a recurring theme, an ongoing strategy to secure the throne by eliminating the competition before they become a threat. Sure, some fans might chalk it all up to envy or petty grievances, but when major figures like 50 Cent and Eminem are publicly calling them out, it starts to feel like more than just idle rumors. This isn't just some whisper campaign in backrooms, it's turning into a narrative that even casual observers can't overlook. So now we turn it over to you. Is this all just baseless drama fueled by haters? Or is there more to the story? Could these so-called coincidences be part of a bigger hidden agenda? Let us know what you think. Leave your thoughts in the comments and don't hold back. Make sure to like this video if you